Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's Interactions with KUWUNDA. Your girl. Yeah, if you are new here, thank you very much. You can just hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you're notified of my videos whenever I upload. If you've been with me from the start, thank you guys. You guys keep me going and you motivate me. Without hesitation, let's get into it. Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about something I'm calling when the waiting gets tough. When the waiting gets tough. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a short story about myself, like something that happened to me a few days ago. Okay, so of late I've been believing God for a job, and I've been praying, I've been expectant, I've been waiting on the Lord. And a few days ago I went for a certain program, and at that program I met a certain man. He's probably in his late 30s or early 40s. So the man owns a company. Okay, he owns a company, and he was interested in my qualifications, so he told me that he needed somebody to work with in his finance team. So he told me he found me worthy of his trust, so he said I could work with him. He offered me a job, in short. So I was very excited, guys, because at first I was like, but then I was very excited because I remembered, I'm like, girl, you've been praying for a job, you've been asking God to come through for you, and he just did, and you're not about to turn it down. So I was really excited, guys, and I thank God about it. I was like a little girl, I'm like, God has finally done it for me and all that. So the following day I decided to call him to find out more about the job, to find out like the terms and conditions of the job. So to my surprise, when I was talking to the man on phone, he told me that the job was available, but it had a condition. Okay, so he was like, you know what, I'm not gonna beat about the bush. I really like you and I'm interested in you. I want to go out with you. This is a big man, guys. Okay, so he's an old man. Okay, so for me to get that job, I have to go out with him. So I was like, oh, and at the time when I called him, I was actually on my knees because I was from praying. Okay, so I was like, oh, let me call him. I had not yet gotten up, and yeah, he just told me that. So guys, I just hung up. I didn't know what to say. I just hung up, and I broke down for a few minutes. I think I broke down because like I was very angry. I was angry at Satan. I was angry at the man. I was just angry. I had so much anger in me. But a few seconds after, that inner voice that we have, right? The inner voice, the inner you. Yeah, that inner voice whispered to me and just told me, baby girl, your waiting threatens the devil, and this is why he is in panic mode, to see to it that you abort your promise, to see to it that you abort that which God has put in you, and this is why he's bringing plan B on the table. So when I heard that voice, I smiled. I smiled. Okay, it's like the anger just went away, and I just smiled. I was like, oh, I'm like, devil, how dare you? How dare you think I would go so low just to get what I want? Okay, and I told myself, I'm gonna wait on God, and I'm gonna wait on my promise till it comes. Okay, so I became confident, and I was, I had my peace back, and I told myself to say, Martha, when the waiting gets tough, don't settle for plan B. So I want to tell somebody out there that has been waiting on God for a very long time. You've been waiting on your promise for a very long time. I want to tell you that when the waiting gets tough, don't settle for plan B. Do you know how when we've all just started waiting, you know how we are excited, we are ready to pray. When God has just given us a promise, we are zealous, we are ready to pray, we are ready to fast, we are ready to sow seed. You know how that goes, okay? But there is a point where you get tired of waiting. You grow weary. When you get to that point where you are tired of waiting, you feel you've prayed enough, you feel you've fasted enough, you've sown enough seed, and there's nothing that is showing up. You are weary, you've grown weary. And you know, it is at that time where when you enter the presence of God, you don't even have strength to do warfare. You just don't have it. All you do is just cry and say, God, come through for me. If you don't do it, I am doomed, okay? I am, if you don't come through for me, nobody will. It is at that point when you're very tired of waiting. It is at that point when the enemy brings plan B on the table because he knows you are tired. He will bring plan B on the table. And plan B just wants to ruin your destiny. Plan B wants to derail your destiny. Plan B wants you to abort your promise. Plan B just has temporal joy. There is nothing good in Plan B. There is nothing permanent in Plan B. Plan B just wants to ruin you. I know the clock is ticking, and everybody around you, all your mates are married, and you are not. All your mates are graduates, and you are not. You've been in school for a very long time, and you've been experiencing terrible failure. And you now think, or maybe let me have an affair with that lecturer for him to give me proper marks, for him to make me clear this course. You've been stagnant in your job for a very long time, and you feel maybe let me get dirty, for me to get promoted, okay? You've been stagnant for a long time, and you feel maybe let me look at this other plan. You've been married for a long time and you have no child, and you've been waiting on God, and you feel God is not working, He's not coming through, okay? Look, God is not a man that He should lie, nor the Son of Man that He should repent. Has He not said it? Shall He not do it? His word does not return to Him void. He watches, His word to perform it. That is the God you and I serve. So you don't have to settle for plan B, because if He has promised you, He's going to deliver His promise, because He's not a liar. And there is always something about plan B, guys. Plan B is always less your worth. Like, it's always less what you are worth. I'm going to give an illustration of lawyers, okay? We're going to go to court, where we're going to talk about the courtroom. So, for lawyers, they are always, when there's a case, when there's a matter, there are always two parties, okay? There's always the plaintiff and the defendant. The plaintiff in this scenario is the complainant, okay? And the defendant in this matter is the one that has done something wrong, okay? The one that we assume has done something wrong. Yeah. So when the defendant knows that there's a possibility of them losing in court, they usually offer a settlement, okay? They bring a settlement on the table so that the plaintiff agrees, so that the matter should not proceed, so that the matter should not go to trial. And sometimes the defendant will see if the plaintiff is confident. If the plaintiff is confident about their case, if they've gathered all facts, if they have enough evidence. And if they notice that the plaintiff does not have enough evidence, they will actually give them, a very low settlement. And sometimes the plaintiff is actually convinced to settle because they know that their matter is a weak case, and the jury will not even want to see that case go to trial, because mostly when the case is when the matter is like it's a weak case, the jury will not want to waste time on it. They'll just advise the parties to settle. And the jury is like the mediator, okay? So guys, in this matter, the defendant is the enemy, and the plaintiff, the complainant, is you and I. And the jury is Jesus Christ, because the Bible says in the book of 1 Timothy 2 verse 5 that there is only one God and one mediator, and that mediator is Jesus Christ. He's the mediator between God and men. So the jury is already on your side because that's Jesus Christ. So he's gonna see to it that this matter goes to trial. And guess what? The judge is God. So definitely you are gonna win this matter in court. So I need you to calm down and watch the judge. Okay, watch the judge, the justful judge, do what he's good at doing. And guys, in the waiting, God is very strategic about how he positions us. Okay, every positioning has a purpose. So wherever God positions you as you wait on him, there is a reason, there is a purpose for that positioning. So it might be at school, you don't feel good at school, you're looked down on. Be it at work, you're the underdog of that workplace. Okay, be it at home, you don't feel at home, you are always frustrated, the environment is not good for you. Be it at church, you are looked down on. Guys, wherever God places you as you wait on him, there is a reason for that positioning. Okay, that positioning is part of God's strategic plan for your life. Okay, so all you have to do is learn the surviving techniques of any environment that God places you in. Wherever God positions you, learn how to survive there, because there's a reason for that positioning. We're going to look at the life of Joseph, in the book of Genesis. God was very strategic on how he positioned Joseph. Joseph was in a home where he was hated. His brothers hated him. Okay, you would think, well, that's not fair, but it was part of God's strategic plan, okay, for Joseph's life. His brothers ended up selling him, and when they sold him, he went to Potiphar's house. God knew what was going to happen there, okay? Because if Joseph had not gone to Potiphar's house, he would not have been put in prison. God was aware that through Potiphar's house, Joseph was going to be put in prison. So it is in prison where he met the butler, the chief butler, and the chief baker, okay? It was in prison. And if Joseph did not meet the chief butler and the chief baker, guess what? There wouldn't have been any dream to interpret. And if he did not interpret any dream, there was not going to be anybody who was going to recommend him to Pharaoh. So I need you to understand that wherever God places you as you wait on him, it is part of his strategic plan. Okay, so everywhere where God placed Joseph in the time of his waiting, it was part of God's strategic plan to make him the prime minister of Egypt. So guys, don't settle for plan B in the waiting. Okay, I need you to calm down and watch the judge pass a ruling over your case, because this you have a winning case. You're gonna win this case. Okay, I need you to calm down and watch the King of Kings. I need you to calm down and watch the I am that I am. I need you to calm down and watch the transcendent God, the immutable God, the mighty man of war, the one that is great in battle. I really need you to calm down and watch the way maker do what only he can do about your case. Okay, I really need you to calm down and watch the Lion of Judah move, because guys, he is still in the business of taking what the enemy meant for evil and turning it for good. So you got to calm down and don't settle for plan B in the waiting.